welcome to Kickback with Chris, Martial Arts Podcast. Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Kickback with Chris. So this week we will be joined later on by the one and only Chris Devera. Now, those of you out there who are into martial arts tricking, musical forms, extreme forms, that sort of thing, that will be a name that you're very, very familiar with. From the outset of this podcast, one of the things I wanted to do was cover a wide variety of areas of martial arts, from the business side of things to performance martial arts, to movies, to traditional arts, and everything else around there as well. So this week I thought it'd be really cool to have somebody on that influenced me heavily at the beginning of my, I think I would say, sort of professional phase of my career, so the late 1990s, early 2000s. So those of you who aren't familiar with Chris, obviously he's going to be on a little bit later to tell you about himself and his work. For me, he was somebody who influenced me heavily when I got into the more sort of acrobatic side of martial arts. I'd always been interested in training different types of kicking techniques and movements, but it wasn't until sort of the late 90s and early 2000s when the internet became more readily available and people started sharing their kicking techniques and the advances that people were making, that it sort of really opened my eyes. What I considered to be difficult moves, and my instructors considered to be difficult moves, were sort of blown out of the water by these people. And Chris Devera was one of those guys that was posting techniques that were just people were looking at and just thinking, how are these guys doing it? They're defying gravity. So we're going to have a really good in-depth discussion. I'm going to try not to geek out too much, but I'll obviously share some of my memories of training and trying to copy the movements that Chris was doing, alongside obviously him telling us a little bit about how he trained and the accomplishments that he has had since. So this week on social media, there's been lots of things going on, as there always is, related to martial arts. And the really cool thing for me is that we've started to get some interaction building up within our Kickback with Chris Facebook group. Obviously, these things do take a little bit of time to get traction, and they're not an instant thing. But this last week, there's been some really cool discussion going on, especially within our specific area on the group for this week. So, some of the things that have been going on. One topic that somebody approached me with, which is actually something that a lot of martial arts school learners have got on their mind at the minute, is relating to GDPR. I'm not going to go down it too much because I know that there are going to be some listeners out there that really have no interest in this, nor do they have any understanding of what it is. But it's a new data protection regulation that it's really causing a lot of instructors to stress out. And something that I'm hoping to do in the coming weeks is have somebody on to talk to us as martial arts instructors and school learners a little bit about what it actually means for us, and hopefully calm the fears of some people out there. So that's one thing that it's been really prominent on social media this last week among school learners. For me personally, I'm sure most of you noticed I've had my online kicking course go live at the imaginatively titled onlinekicking.co.uk, which I'm really, really surprised as URL actually exists and that nobody has taken it before now. But that's been going really well, so thank you to everybody who's supported that. If you're interested in going along to sign up for a free trial, that is onlinekicking.co.uk. So selfless plug there. But no, really pleased it's got working, and actually ties in really nicely with what Matt Chapman was saying last week on episode 2. He's helped a lot with that one. Another cool thing that we've got going on in the martial arts business sector, my good friend Gordon Bircham has his new martial arts social media app launching soon. I'd love to be able to tell you when exactly, but I don't actually know. I'm actually pretty keen for this one as well. But if you keep an eye on Gordon's Facebook groups and obviously his personal page as well, I'm sure there'll be updates going on there. But from what I can see from it, and again, this is just me reading into it, this is not actual facts that I know, but it looks to sort of be an all-in-one portal So everything from podcasts, so maybe mine might be on there, that'd be cool, all the way through to sort of experts giving their views on different sorts of training, a place for people to meet and chat and discuss martial arts and share videos and that sort of thing. So like an all-in-one hub for everything martial arts. So that's going to be pretty cool to see how that develops. So just keep an eye out online to see as and when that's going to be released. Aaron Gasser and Bill Wallace have been announced already as being guests for next year's UK Martial Arts show at the Dome, which is really cool. Everybody, two awesome kickers, very, very different kicking styles, but again, totally awesome people. I'm sure everybody's well aware of the work of both Aaron, who goes by the name of the Ginger Ninja Trickster on YouTube and social media, and obviously Bill Wallace, who needs no introduction. Everybody knows Bill Superfoot Wallace. So to have those two guys there, it's going to be great for me. I'm looking forward to going down and getting involved with anything that they've got going on. Another one, a little bit of a change of tone here on this one. This is one of those. It was going to come up sooner or later. A bit of a subjective one, but for me, this has been a bit of a it's been a sad one to see on a personal level, but also sort of, I don't know, maybe a bit of a disappointing one for me as to the way that the community has sort of dealt with it. There's been the apparent news of Jet Li, who everyone knows as the martial arts superstar and film star, is ill. Now I'm not going to go into talking about the ins and outs of the articles that are on there. All I will say on it is I did see the articles. I'm sure many of you have out there, and I get and totally respect that everybody has their own view on this one, and if you have shared it, that's for you to choose to share it. But for me, when I saw that article, obviously the first thing I thought was, this is really sad. But then I closed the article. I didn't share it on social media, and a lot of people have been sharing what is kind of it's a bit gossipy, really. The way I like to look at this one is, if that was me and I was ill, would I want people sharing it around social media? Would I want my family seeing people talking and discussing on what the situation is? I don't know that I would. Some have used the reasoning that because he's a public figure, that it gives us the right to discuss his issues. I can't say that I agree with that one personally, but again, I get it's a subjective one, and everybody is entitled to their opinion and their view. I have nothing against anybody that has shared it, but what I would say is, just imagine or consider if it was you or one of your family members, even if they were famous, would you like that sort of thing going on? So maybe just consider that one next time, and if you see anybody else sharing it, perhaps mention that one to them too. Onto a slightly more upbeat one now. On our Facebook group, we've had several people chiming in with little bits of news, things that they've got going on themselves. I'm sorry if I murder the pronunciation of anybody's names here. But the first bit of news we had on there, or the first share, should I say, on there, was from Duncan McEvoy. I'm guessing that's how you say it. And what he did, he actually posted some links to some articles, things that he'd written for other blogs. Some interesting things on there about the differences between sparring and fighting. So if you actually, what I'm going to do is I will post links to these in the show notes. Obviously, you can also go onto our Facebook group and have a read for yourself. But yeah, quite an interesting read. Go on there and have a look for yourselves. Also on there, we had Cole Shergill, who was sharing information about an upcoming, I believe it's actually this weekend, if I just quickly check the details, I think it was the 27th. Yeah, Sunday the 27th, he's got a fundraiser on, raising money for Crohn's disease, which is it's a terrible, terrible thing to be inflicted with. I've had students that suffer with it, and I've had friends as well, and it is a terrible thing. So he's getting involved with some fundraising, and I also believe that they're going to be doing a sponsored walk over, I think it's either 10 kilometres or 10 miles, I can't remember off the top of my head, across London later on this year. So if you get onto our Facebook group, the details are on there. What I'll also do is, again, I'll dig out the details and I'll include it in the show notes so that everybody can have a good read on there as well. So with no further ado, I think what we will do now is go on to our interview with the awesome Chris Devera, and I will speak to everybody else after that. Okay, so joining us on the line now, we have Chris Devera, all the way from pretty much the other side of the world. How are we doing today, sir?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm excellent. I'm excellent. Now, just for everybody out there, just to explain, we're obviously all these interviews are done over Skype, over the internet. So, coupled with my pretty poor internet connection at the moment, and Chris being on the other side of the world, if there are any dropouts or any sort of hiccups, then we will do our best to get reconnected as quickly as possible. Just wanted to put that out there first before we carry on. So, yeah, how's things, sir?
Things are good. Things are busy. Yeah, very exciting times, actually. Very exciting times.
Excellent. I have literally, and I will apologise ahead of time, I have just come out of a cardio session. I'm just on a cardio kickboxing class. So if I'm heavy breathing down the phone, it's not due to... As much as I am excited that you're on the line, it's not because of that. So just so you know. Yeah. I'll be honest, I'm absolutely wrecked. I'm so tired. But hey, such is the life of a full-time instructor. So yeah, I guess the best thing to do really would be to go right back to the start, right back to the beginning, and a little bit about yourself, your background, where you grew up, how you got into martial arts.
Right. Well, let's see. I was born in Florida, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Not a lot of people know, but yeah, I was born in Florida, and let's see. I was a nerd. I was like a straight A student. All that good stuff.
Yeah.
Principal club, honor roll, up until martial arts started, right?
Had a negative influence then.
Yeah, no, it was weird. When I first started martial arts, I didn't even really like it.
Okay.
I got all the way to like blue belt, and I was like ready to quit. But then I don't know. My dad, he got me into all these, the Jackie Chan movies, Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris. Right, and I liked all that stuff. But Karate Kid really got me. Right.
Me too.
Right. Yeah, and the whole Cobra Kai thing that just came out. Oh boy.
Yeah. So cool.
Go a whole full hour on that whole episode. But it's like, yeah, that got me. And then like growing up, like the Ninja Turtles and the Power Rangers and like they got me because like they're teams, that flip around, do magic, tricks and whatnot.
Yeah.
Around. But anyways, yeah, even though I ended up quitting martial arts, I stayed with it. In fact, this is cool. This kind of relates to me and like the tricking community itself. But my parents, they were both like agents. My dad was a travel agent.
Right.
So people around the world. And then my mom, she was like a nursing agent. Right. She would like get local nurses jobs at local hospitals. And so what they did was eventually, after a couple of years of that, they built this little community. All right. A bunch of people that travel and a bunch of nurses, right? Odd mix of people, but we get together for these monthly events, right? And we do stuff like pillowcase races. We do all for apples, all the holiday stuff, and fun for little philanthropies and causes and whatnot. And but that's what I grew up like doing, and it was cool. Like they would do performances, all the parents, right? Every Tuesday and Thursday night, all the parents would come over to my parents' house, right? And they would rehearse for these performances that they would do for these little community events that they'd host, right? So they do different themes like 60s dance routines, 80s, all costumed up and all that stuff, right? So like I don't know, it's weird. It's like my house. Like I grew up in the whole gathering like life. You know what I mean? It's like. I mean, who has that? Every Tuesday, Thursday night, you got like 30 people over at your house.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. So I was used to that. That's like gathering life, like growing up as a kid. So I think, I mean, we can go into this later, but I think that's how it connects to like how my parents allowed my house to become a gathering house, and we were like a gathering house for a good, like, I don't know, 15 years or so.
Wow.
Yeah. So I got it straight from my parents, all this stuff, but, the martial arts wise, I ended up quitting like the traditional martial arts, but then I got into it again. Oh shit! I'm sorry. You can edit that out.
That's cool.
That school in Florida where I started, it was like Taekwondo and Hapkido, right? But like in 2007, do you remember like the Danny Graham hurricane gathering?
Yeah.
Remember that? Okay, so he picks me up and then he goes, "Hey, Poppy, let's go to my old karate school." I'm like, "Okay, cool. I recognize all this. I used to live out here because he lives in like West Palm, like South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, and that's where I live. You know, um, like so. Dan Graham takes me to his old karate school. Guess what? We went to the same karate school at different times. Never knew each other. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Yeah. And now he's T'Challa, you know.
So in those early days of training, this is possibly similar to mine. I mean, I think I'm a bit older actually. I'm not sure. I was sort of training in the late 80s, early 90s, and you know I would see my instructor sort of like jump spin hook kicks and I copied all of those techniques, but back then everything was sort of insular. There was no internet, so you were as good as the best student in your school, and then you were as good as the best person in the local area at the competition, and then that was kind of the way that I saw things, and it wasn't until I think for me it was about the late 90s. Yeah, late 90s, early 2000s, when the internet started becoming a little bit more readily available, where, I saw these things that people were doing, these kicks that I didn't even think were like that humanly possible, and that blew my mind. I was like, wow, as you do, you think, okay, I'm kind of good at this, and my instructor's kind of good at this, and then you see these guys doing things, and you're like, how is that even possible? Right. I wondered how did you come? Did you sort of? Because obviously, to me, you were one of those people. Straight up say this. I saw your videos on online, and I used to download them onto VHS, and then that's how I'm aging us now. But I used to download them onto VHS, and then pause play, whilst other kids were pause playing other videos. I was pause playing tricking videos. But yeah, I'm like, I've got to get this right. Yeah. How did you was it a similar thing for you, or did you see other people doing them and then think, wow, what is this? Or did you sort of fall into it accidentally yourself, and then people like myself saw you?
That's the thing. It was like a distinct, thing that happened. Like my mind was blown when I got switched up on it. So when in Florida again, I didn't like martial arts all that much. I went all the way till brown belt. I quit at brown belt, right? In all the movies, I would think, okay, the stuff that they do in the movies is kind of impressive, but a lot of the stuff was wire work. It didn't look real. It didn't look possible. And then I was into comic books. None of that was real. But then when I moved to California, right, like I saw like the World Action Team.
Yeah.
Next Generation. It was crazy. Let's see. I'd seen some videos on VHS, but then when I saw them in person, I was like, holy moly. They're doing all this stuff in, live action as a team, no wires and moves I've never seen before. I was like, at the time I was 13 when I first saw them, and and then like I still lived in Florida at the time when I first saw them, but then when I finally moved to California when I was like 14, I was like, yo, sign me up right away.
Yeah.
I want to do martial arts. Oh, this team here has like a. Because I went to a tournament, I saw them perform live action like right in front of my face.
Yeah,
I was blown away. Double leg. I had never seen double leg before. 720 was like crazy back then. I was like, what? He spun 2 times?
I know.
We're like.
I remember this. I remember the first time seeing some of those techniques, and it was just like, how is this happening? How no, this is, and then the way, and I think this is why so many of us are so physically broken now as well, now the sort of 30s and 40s. Literally stand in front of a mirror and throw yourself until it looked something like the thing they were doing, because there was no tutorials.
There's no spring floor back in the day.
No.
And then the standards were rougher on us back then. Like it's like we had to kick, had to make it still proper, in line with like proper martial arts techniques. So that was rough. We were like we were like the original like scientists for tricking, like the guinea pigs, basically. through the first experiments, you know. And it's cool to see where it's at now. I mean, the level, the technique that they have, and it's insane on all levels. You know, the power levels, also the levels of cleanness.
Yeah,
I feel like they're beyond the old school level of clean technique. They do this extra pointing stuff now these days, and it's interesting. You know,
it is. Yeah. I mean, it was actually one of the questions that you might have seen that came up on the Facebook group from Kieran. He was asking about, you know, your opinion on sort of like and this is quite a large, wide, open-ended question, this one, but sort of like the evolution of tricking compared to something like breakdance. Like, what's happened with tricking from like the sort of 2000s to now? God, it's like 18 years. I just realised, Jesus. But the evolution is just huge.
Oh, I mean, literally jokes. I mean, tricks that we would joke about, you know. They're literally doing them now. The triggers, you know, and also like tricks that, like say on the tricks tutorials forum, which was what 8 years ago or so, right? When would it go down like 2010? But like there was tricks mentioned in there that were jokes, and now the trickers are actually doing them today. You know, like we never thought a double flip from a gainer setup would ever happen.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, it's the evolution is amazing, and I think the thing. I mean, it's not the obviously I can only speak from my own personal experience, but it's not that I wasn't training seriously. I was training every day. I was pushing myself. But now when you see some of the kids do what they're doing now, it's obviously the training methods and the sort of, I dare even say the sort of scientific understanding. They're doing very specific training now to attain those techniques that we were doing. You know, we were doing like a round or a turning kick, and let's see if we can put one spin on. Hey, maybe one day we'll do two. Ha ha ha. Right. And now,
and on the kicking leg, or
and like, the level of training and understanding now is just immense. Awesome
platform now these days. There's so many things going on in tricking.
Yeah.
Like whether it be like academic or, you know, the social multimedia, the spread is really strong and fast and very organic. The the competitive side of tricking is growing too. You know, really cool. So like, and all the videos that are out there, the standard of tricking these days that the young trickers get exposed to, like, the dubs are the basics for them now, or like, you know, But look, it's a cool standard, and it's cool when some of them, like, you know, still exhibit beautiful technique with all the single moves, or like, you know, the non-twist, the kicks, you know, the creative stuff, you know, it because even all that creative stuff is expanding. It's awesome. My opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. So for yourself, going way back when, what came first, tricking or forms? What was for you? Which way around did it go? Were you a forms guy first and moved into it, or?
Okay, I started martial arts again because of tricks.
Right. Okay.
Was like, let's see, packaged. We had to package the tricks. It wasn't even called tricking for us. We just called it training, like, for demos.
Yeah, exactly. It was demo team.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was like the packaging of where, like, you know, my history of tricking came from, like, and a lot of that comes from like the sport karate scene, NASCA, you know. Like the World Action Team, like Master Reyes' original team came out like late 70s, early 80s, and like they blew up in the sport karate, American sport karate scene, and they were out there in Europe plenty of times.
Yeah.
At Bear Sea and
that's right.
Udo Gala, right?
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, if like that's my style of tricking, I guess, and with that came the chops and punches and the transitional kicks. You know, it's not. I wasn't just. So I would use that to, like, you know, semi go into the actual tournaments. You know, like do like the creative forms. I joined a couple of teams. I was on Team Daniel Sterling. For a while, and then I was on Team Team Straight Up Kicking, which is a pretty strong team back in the day. They do all those G-force weapons that you see all over the place. But But yeah, I was tricker first and foremost. And I had a martial arts package to it. I started the martial arts way earlier. Started like in '88.
That's the same time as me. Exactly the same time.
30 years ago, bro. Oh my goodness.
I know. Those were the days. Those were the days, though. Knuckle push-ups.
Yeah. Carpet.
Barefoot running.
Oh my god. During the early days. Okay, so I grew up with I was a total bubble boy. I had asthma. I couldn't eat like fish, eggs. I couldn't touch puppies. Like animals, code red, all that stuff.
Wow.
Didn't want to take my socks off during karate class, right? So they would make me take my socks off or take my belt off. I'm like, oh no, So I'm like, okay, I'll take my socks off. And again, I didn't like karate all that much. I was forced to go in. Like my I think I just tried to kick as hard as fast as I could so that nobody could see my feet. You know what I mean? That was my intent to train to kick hard and fast, And same thing we would do. It was cool. My instructors would give us cool kicking drills. Like he would line us up on the other side of the school, right? And he would hold the shield. He'd be like, all right, flying side kicks, flying back kicks, like full sprint. I think that's where my muscle build came from on my legs. We did that a lot, hardcore leg drills.
Yeah, we were the same. I remember, it might even be listening now, I don't know. But we used to have, I think now when I ask kids to do things and they kind of look at you sideways, like, well, you can't do that. When I'm like, well, kids, when I was your age, but I remember one of the drills we used to do for jump side kicks. We used to use, I don't know if, well, yeah, of course you guys would have them, like plastic chairs with metal legs. And they used to set the chairs up, and it was, for the jump side kick was, well, you either jump over the chairs and kick the pad, or you land on the chairs, make your choice.
That's a good one.
And I remember at 8 and 9 years old, standing in front of these chairs, like,
you're 9?
I have to make this choice. I have to land on the chairs or hit the pad. Now, if you were to do that these days,
no way.
Close you down instantly. But I mean, I appreciate that hard level of training because it sort of it's influenced me now, particularly when I've had to go through, as we all have, those stages of injury, and you have those brief moments of thinking, "Oh, can I actually do this anymore?" I'm pretty sure you've had some, if you're interested in touching on them at all, some pretty horrific injuries over the course of your career.
Absolutely. I mean, luckily, I've just been so obsessed with tricking that I always come back to it, or not. I always have a reason to come back, whether it's teaching. And I think the teaching point is a good, point to bring up.
Yeah.
I mean, we come up on students that run up on that same problem all the time, where it's like, especially at the higher levels, they're like, oh man, I'm running out of steam for all this training, So we have to invent them. We have to disguise the repetition in order to get them train harder and funner. And I think that's what happened at my school. We called him Sensei Ken. He was like a track dude, so he applied some track stuff to our, so that flying sidekick is full on track, because we would do full sprint from the opposite side of the floor. It was really cool. But it's cool. Yeah, it's definitely cool how our teachers and us as teachers really influence the students.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So something that was big. I'm trying to remember the dates exactly, but it was sort of, I'm thinking late 90s, early 2000s when it really kicked. Might have even been more before then. But somewhere that both yourself, I was on there, and there was probably people now that are listening that would kill me if I didn't mention this. But the old website, the Belang.com.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was a hive of activity.
Yeah. That's where, that's when my grades started slipping.
Yeah. I remember back there, I remember dial-up internet. So, I remember I would training, and we would training at the end. We'd bust out our 1 megapixel digital camera, and God, let's get a picture of a sidekick quick, or some capoeira move or something. Let's get and if you got your photo on Bilang.com, you'd made it. You were
What?
you were a legend.
That in the videos, the samplers. You know, there'd be debates about that in the forums.
Oh, wouldn't that just?
Right. You know, well before Bilang.com, like he had the West Coast Action Team website, right?
Yeah.
For a good, I don't know, like year, I think. So he's like right at the dawn of the internet, you know, 95, 96 or so.
Yeah.
And then the tricking website came out, Bilang.com, and there was that forum, and the videos and the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of the pictures, you want to be one of the videos, and then we would all just like, you know, trash talk each other on the forums or like.
It was brutal.
Yeah, each other's butts, one or the other, you know.
It was brutal, but it was, looking back on it, I mean, at the time it was drama, but looking back on it now, it's fun.
It's so good. I know I was geeking out every day. Like I was in the library every day at school, just internet for that, you know.
And it was the two, I remember, because it went through different phases. I remember originally he had like the heartbeat sound going over the video when it went
right.
And then came up, and then it changed to that sort of, I don't even know how to describe noise. And when you heard that sound, it's like oh.
Yeah, oh God, it strikes some hardness.
Yeah,
really.
And then those days and what it was really cool. I remember and the music as well. I like the one I posted on Facebook earlier with was it 2 Unlimited? I think it was on it. Was it? I can't remember. But the music, every time that's what happens now when I hear certain tracks played. In my head, immediately I associate it with different samplers.
I know.
That's the music that's whoever played on there. You know, even now, all like 18 years later, if I hear a tune, I'm like, it's straight away in my head. I watched some of those videos so many times. People are probably listening now, going, "This guy's weird." But I watched those videos so many times that I could even listening to the track, tell you what they're doing.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So who back then did you have any favorite competitors or anybody that you aspired to work towards being like?
The first people I saw that really were like that blew me away were Kim Do, David Douglas.
Yep.
Let's see, Carmichael was coming out.
Yeah.
Mike Chat.
Yeah.
Anthony. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, creatively, I was always trying to chase Kim Do. Like, okay, this guy is just really creative. He's got awesome tricks, you know. Mm-hmm. But Atkins, you know, his jumping height is explosive.
Oh yeah.
I was really trying to chase him, you know, with my kicking style. And yeah, I'd say Kim and Anthony Atkins are probably my, you know, like first like inspirations, like in tricking. You know, oh, Manny Brown, he's part of that group too as well.
Yeah,
a little bit before me, I feel like. But then like the new crop of trickers came out super hard, like Tarada.
Yep.
Matt Emig. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Exploded onto the scene, you know. But yeah, those were my first inspirations after the movies, you know. Yep. Like that was a point for me. I was like, oh, whoa. There's people that really do this in real life. Okay, this is what I'm doing. Not that I've made it yet. I'm still trying to figure out how this whole thing, you know, factors out. But like back then, like I was able to figure out early, like, okay, this is it the rest of my life, you know. And,
yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting one, because I remember my instructors were still sort of pushing themselves sort of into their 40s. But now it's going to be interesting to see who from sort of, dare I say, our generation of like trickers from like the 90s and 2000s, how you know, who's going to be able to cut and eke it out the longest? Who's going to be still going in the 40s? I mean, I'm nearly 40. In their 50s, my tricks are incredibly limited now. My tricks are limited to like 1980s.
I'm not far behind. I'm telling you. Oh boy.
Yeah.
All the injuries.
I threw a 540 my last one, I got it on film, actually. I threw my last 540 4 weeks ago, at a charity event. And I landed it, not thinking I would land it. And my knee just shot in every single direction it could, trying to catch myself from falling. Yeah. I was like hobbling around for like 2.5, 3 weeks.
You uploaded it, right?
No, I haven't.
Recently, but yeah, I mean, it's funny you say it like that, because recently I've been thinking to myself, oh man, at any moment, like, any one of these tricks I throw might be the last one I ever throw of that trick.
I've got the video, but I'm never showing it. I can't watch it. It's just too cringe. As I land, it's just I hate that sort of thing. I really kind of hate it, which is a funny job to be in when I hate seeing injuries. But it's
what is a special trick? Like, it's weird. Because so you spin and you jump off the same foot that you kick, and you land on the same foot, right?
Yeah.
That's like considered a basic.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. That's where I'm happy. That's where I'm at. It's cool. But on taking obviously the tricking, and you've spoken earlier about your traditional background. It's long been, and this is something that I've always been really passionate about. Well, you could say sometimes overly aggressive about speaking out about on especially on Facebook, social media, when people are really quite nasty. I don't even want to say negative, quite nasty really sometimes towards people who are into sort of forms, tricking, that sort of thing. And I'm sure over the years you've probably experienced your fair share of sort of trad guys really being quite negative. I just wondered what your thoughts were on that sort of thing.
No, you're right. What you said earlier, it's a lot of people that are very compassionate about about whatever this thing is. I mean, that question itself, what is it? Is this a sport? Is this an art?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it, that I think tricking is that like polarized,
Mm-hmm.
it's just that polarized, just like martial arts is,
Yeah.
like, and I think, and the more that the conversation, or the more people join tricking, the more the conversation is going to get heavier.
Yeah.
And going to be taken in different directions that people may or may not like.
Yeah.
The general tone, though, to newcomers specifically, I feel, is like not the most welcoming.
Right.
And also the one general like sentiment I hear a lot, I see a lot, when people just say to just go for it.
Mm.
I don't know how I sit with that, because part of tricking is, you are your client. Really, just go for it. But like to a newcomer, maybe we can like handle the newcomer better. Like, here, go check this out, or here, watch some of these videos, or here, try this out, or go through the basics, as opposed to just, just man up and do it, like that sentiment. I don't really appreciate all that much.
No, I that's sort of how I came through everything. I didn't. I was fortunate that my instructor at the time, he had an interest, and he was competent himself as well. He was able to throw a decent 540, decent 720, and he was sort of inspired me. And then I found the stuff on the internet, but I threw myself, and at the time, I'm a teenager. I bounce, I kind of bend. I don't break so much, but nowadays there's not really a reason for people to be doing that anymore. We've learnt from that. Hey, don't do it that way.
Oh, exactly.
Do it this way.
Like,
so
hey, almost us older, tricking gentlemen who have sacrificed our limb.
Tricking gentlemen, I like that.
We've sacrificed our limbs for this, literally. They could heed some of the word of all of the experience, and there's enough like, and that's the awesome thing about tricking. There's been enough time to pass where there's been generations of older gentlemen and trickers and ladies and gentlemen.
Literally. I mean, my son is 9 years old, and he's starting to have an interest in this now. And it's so cool thinking, I was much older. I mean, I was in my late teens, so it's exciting to see where he potentially could progress towards in that 10 years that I wasn't doing it. I'm. He might not continue with it, but if he does, then it's going to be really cool to see now, especially with the competition and the availability of training, and it's really cool stuff. It's exciting times. Now, earlier on, you touched a little bit on the sort of the community side to tricking and how you used to have your house was sort of opened. I just wondered if you share a little bit more about that and how it came about, and was that sort of the birth of Loop Kicks? Was it involved in that sort of process?
It was pretty much the same model that my parents used in Florida.
Yeah.
Let's see, but it was powered by like some Bay Area, like Northern California has a strong connective thingy. I mean, I'm right in the Silicon Valley where Google and all them, Apple, all that from.
Right.
So like connectivity is like a big deal out here. So I was able to do the same thing that my parents did in Florida. We did it for several years at my parents' house, and
I'm just trying to like create an image in my head now of how many people would be there?
Oh boy. Okay, so the first like 10 years or so, we would like everything was a lot more tame. Like the first like 5 years, I'd say, but like a good 20 people would be at my house. The first year we had like 20 people at Peter Yang's, right, and then we had like another 15 people or so at the hotel like, down the road. So like that was the first Loop Kicks camp, right?
Wow. And
every year afterwards, we got we got hotels to cover everything, but guests would always fly in early or stay a week later, and like so they would just hole up at my house, and my parents are cool. They like to build stuff, so like every house we've moved around to, we've always built other units, So we're able to use those units for international guests, and let's see. Oh wow! So a few of those years we would fly Anise in, right?
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So like for 3 years, like let's see, 5, 7. Like Anise would like spend like a good 6 months with us each year, through the spring and summer. He would just train with us, do demos with us. We'd film and promote the camp and all that.
Yeah, he was like it was just like this huge explosion in the community, wasn't it? It's like,
all right,
where's this guy come from?
Yeah, so many explosions, but then he really came out on top for,
yeah,
long. And he was a real pleasure to train with and just to live with. He lived in one of the back units in the back of my parents' house for a while.
Right.
And it was cool. Jeremy Marinas, he would practically live there, because he was from San Jose, but he would be the first person. Okay, so he would wake us up in the morning, right? And then he would be the last person over in the middle of the night. He's a very persistent kid, Jeremy was. And it shows because he's killing it in Hollywood. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's when you look at the progression of a lot of people within the industry, that's sort of what a lot of people end up going towards, isn't it? The competition scene, and then moving on to the movies, and then it's been interesting to watch the progression of people. Every now and again I'll be watching something and I'll be like, that's you kind of see people, you're like, that's cool. So is that something you've ever had an interest in at all? Going into that side, or
little, yeah. I mean, let's see. I'm trying to push for, like, I have a little network of martial artists out here, and we're trying to push for a fight choreo.
Okay.
Up here area,
Yeah.
Like, I mean, people have martial arts skill in the Bay Area plus camera skills. Like, great, like a little, like it's growing out there in Thailand right now. It's growing out there in Atlanta, Montreal. I think it's growing, the stunt industry. Provide another option to where you don't have to go to LA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Members of the team to LA, let me tell you. But that what you were mentioning earlier about the platforms that tricking has now.
Yeah.
Before career platforms, now there's several career platforms that you can pursue, whether it be teaching or performing, literally being in the movies. Stunt doubling for these awesome, superhero characters. It's cool. Tricking has grown to the point where it's not hard for us to explain to the parents anymore.
And if you look back to the movies sort of in the 90s and early 2000s, and slowly over time, tricking worked its way into the films. But it's now at the point where if it's not in the films, people are surprised. You sit down to watch an Avengers movie or whatever it is, and you're just constantly seeing the techniques that we were training in those films. It's just like, that's so cool.
No, totally. We're just calling out all the tricks. Okay, that was a rise,
And the other cool thing as well is now, again, we've sort of been numbed to it a little bit because we'd sit and watch it at tournaments every week or on the internet all the time, and you're watching people watch these films, and somebody does something that to us you kind of go, oh, we see it all the time, and then you see their reaction, they're like, wow, that's so cool. Like when Ong Bak first came out, and people were Tony Jaa, and people were like, "Oh, this is crazy," and it's sort of kind of snowballed from there, it's really cool to see how it's progressed.
Totally. I mean, word was that he was a bilang goer.
Really?
John, that's how he learned how to implement his Muay Thai with tricking.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Word was, I don't know who we can go to verify this, but that's a plausible thing in my opinion.
Definitely. That website did a lot for the growth of the sport, and the community as a whole. And I know that it caused its drama as well, but the people inhabiting it caused the drama. But it really, I know you through that website. That's how I know of you, and that's how this interview's come to fruition 18 plus years later. It's through that website, so Billy, if you're listening,
we're keepers, bro, because when before those years there was no internet.
No.
You know what I mean? There's no phone devices like what we got now these days. We were the last of the people to live a life without internet or mobile. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It was. It was.
Perspective.
I remember it being It was it's almost like a premiere experience. It's like, whoever it was, they're releasing a sampler on Friday, and you'd be like, oh, cool, Friday. Wait for Friday. Whereas now it's like live stream.
2 second take 2 hours to download, and
wow, we're old. Those were the days.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to touch a little bit on, obviously you've mentioned before, but there will be some people listening that don't know the full history and everything about Loop Kicks as a group and how it came about. Obviously you talked a little bit about the gatherings and how it's evolved over the years and how you see it moving forwards from now.
Yes. Okay. Awesome question. So, most of us original members from Team Loop Kicks were from the same dojo. We're from a West Coast martial arts, Berryessa. It was in San Jose, and let's see. So what we would do is we were on the demo team, and some of us were hopefuls for the demo team, the World Action Team, Master Race. Some of us were on it, and some of us were hopefuls, So we would just train hard after black belt class just to get our tricks down for demos. That way we can show Konjanim, show Master Reyes our open forms,
Yeah.
And recruit us for the demo team, So we'd train hard, and then Isaiah Flores, right, the actual creator of Loop Kicks, he came up with the name and everything. He saw us at one of the tournaments, and he had his camera, right? He was always the tech dude, he was like the Donatello. Yeah, he was like the Donatello of the team. But he would film us, show us the videos, and this was like in '98 or so. First started doing that, '99. But he's like, "Hey, yo, look, watch the videos. I could pull them up on my computer. It's on a website." We're like, "Whoa, an actual website?" This is like '90s, and so then we'd go to his school and impede us, and we would train there, get extra training in. We're like training like 6 days, 7 days a week, hanging out at Denny's afterwards till the wee hours of the night. But it was like me, Isaiah, it was Chris Balualua, Highly, sometimes Anthony Gooch, the Joga Kayan, Mike Serrano, some of the old school guys, Hans, Hans Wick.
Oh yeah.
Right? So we would be the late night, we'd train until 2 or 3 at night, some of the Chris Balualua, we wouldn't let him like go home until he would hit like certain things sometimes. He was young. He couldn't drive. We're like, we're not taking you home unless you hit your whatever, box cutter or double whatever. And he'd be screaming, and he would like kind of ride this energy. He'd be like, "Come on, take me home! Fine, your damn trick!" Right? And he would like power up and hit insane tricks, That's how Lou would train. But yeah, so we would do that, Isaiah, and then he had his Loop Kicks was like the name of his school's demo team, and that was just kind of a local team of kids, started training over there, and then like kind of just, like my team from Berryessa took on his, team Loop Kicks, and we joined together, I trained us for the tricks and the demos. We would start setting up our own demos. Oh, we would get in trouble for this. So it's one of those. But yeah, we would do our own demos. Then we came up with it. We took on Isaiah's team name, Loop Kicks, and he came up with that, but because he was playing music. You might have heard this story, but he was strumming the guitar in a looping motion while he was kicking the bass drum. All right, and then he came up with the name Loop Kicks because he was, That's how he came up with it. But then he applied it to his local demo team, and then he applied it to us. So that's how the team started. He would do all the video and the website, and I would train the team, and we'd all book gigs together. The parents would reach out to local vendors or events and try to book us for demos. And yeah, that's we did that for a good 3 or 4 years, right? Putting up. And then Toronto, they came out with the Toronto Tricking Gathering, like in 2003, right?
Yeah.
And by that time, there was only tricking events at tournaments.
Yeah.
Right? So then Toronto, Team FS, they did that Toronto Gathering, which was like by the trickers, So we're like, yo, we got together, the team got together, like, we could do something like what Toronto's doing, but maybe we could put a teaching element to it, So then we came up with the Loop Kicks camp, all right? And we were so scared. We were like, we don't know what the heck we're doing. Oh, man. I was 21 or something like that at the time, and everybody else was like, Mike Serrano, he was like 24, but everybody else was like, 16, 15. So we were like, okay, well, we already set it up. And we started releasing videos, right, to promote it. And like response, right? That's when we came out with the yellow card samplers. Yeah, and yellow card, we had the scrap footage sampler, I think it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got a good response, and we were doing tournaments at the time, so like it was cool. We got some trickers from out of nowhere, like backyard trickers, and we got some trickers to want to come, right? Let's see. Previously, we did some Europe, right? We did a Europe that NASC event, right? Where me, Chris, and High, we go ham in that one battle. Anissa's in it. But yeah, we ran the camp in 2004. Good response, good numbers, and then we're like, okay, we'll do it again next year. And and then it's always been like that. I mean, luckily, like with the camp, we had a growing community. A lot of people were willing to come and film, you know, and like we had our own in-house filming crew. I think it's the video, you know, and like the event hosting that's kept Loop Kicks, like, has given it longevity, you know. There's been a lot of teams in and out of tricking, but Loop Kicks has stuck around.
Yeah.
I think because of our, you know, we try to do functional things, you know. Cool thing now is like I'm not. Let's see. I ran the camp for 10 years, right, and I've been trying to find someone to kind of hold, you know, take the torch, and rotating around the team. Team is doing really well this year, I feel like, and that's where I'm at with Loop Kicks. I've done, you know, plenty of years of camp, and I want the team to be able to handle itself, you know, its own functions. You know, each there's like departments of Loop Kicks. You know, we got the camps, we got the classes. We got the, you know, the videos. We have, so like if I can just hand a portion of Loop Kicks to each one of the members or something like that, I don't know. But I want it to handle itself. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the baby, isn't it? You know, it's grown with you, and then you kind of go, okay, let's let it go and see where it goes. All from that, you know, it's crazy to see how it's grown, and it's cool. It's really cool to see. And yourself, you know, what things have you got going on? What have you got things you want to tell us about?
Yeah, exciting things. I've been working on trying to map out tricking. Yeah, you know, and you know that's kind of complete, but also like open, and also easy to try to cipher. But anyways, I've been writing the whole curriculum thing, and it's basically a map for tricking. I'm filming the videos for it soon. I'm putting like an application platform to it. Mm-hmm. Anyways, it's my new baby right now. You know, now that Loop is handling itself. The curriculum is like my current main project right now, and very excited. It's in beta right now. I'm like testing out a lot of things with the class students and with the team members. But hopefully by this summer I can get like a good full platform rolled out, ready to go. I mean, I'm going to roll out some videos very soon to explain how it works. It does look confusing to at first glance, but yeah, there's that, and good timing on this podcast. I was able to finally get my own dojo.
Wow. Congrats.
Yeah. It's cool. It's actually that's the thing. After I put down the camp, to try to let the teammates handle it, I've been trying to look for a gym for the team. It's been like a 4 or 5 year hunt, just to find a location. With all the the commerce activity happening in the Bay Area, it's like super expensive to even lease like a location out here. So like a warehouse location. But I was able to purchase my friend's dojo. He's heading out of town, and it's got high ceilings. I'll be able to put in the spring floor really soon, and the mirrors. But yeah, I'll be able to really roll out the whole curriculum thing from a home base. Lucas has never had a home base, dude. All these years, we've always subleased from all these different gyms, and at a point where Loop Kicks would get, say, too big for the gym, or we'd get in trouble for whatever reason, we'd locate gyms, but to finally have our own like home base, our own headquarters, I feel like we'll really, really be able to grow at an accelerated rate. We have many like on the shelf that we want to tap back into, and really, and with space, we can totally do that, with time and space.
Exciting times. Well, it sounds like it's going to move forwards for you in a positive way, and I look forward to seeing it all on social media. And
definitely, it's gonna be a slow drip, but then start a week or two, I'm going to be putting the word out, and got to get all my graphics together and all that stuff, and my marketing. But going to be a strong summer.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, I really do look forward to seeing it all. Well, I just want to say a big thanks for your time, because it's it's really cool how it kind of feels like a full circle thing for me, this, because I got into this side of martial arts through seeing you guys on the internet, which inspired me to train more, which sort of led me down this career path. And obviously I've had my full-time school now for over 15 years, and the podcast just kind of came around through just wanting to sort of find a new creative outlet for what I do 6 days a week. And so to have you on as one of the first guests is it's cool. Sort of, it kind of feels full circle.
No, it totally does. I mean, on the Bylang website, I was like sampler number 2, right?
Really?
Yeah, and I'm guest number 2 on your podcast. You know?
Yeah. Wow, synchronicity.
Yeah. But no, totally. I mean, I know a lot of this was gushy stuff. A lot of us like about us reminiscing about the past, but it's been a real pleasure. And yeah, I think we really caught each other at a good moment because we've known each other for such a long time. And yeah, again, like you said, you've had a school for several years, and I've been really trying to pay attention to school owners and what they do, how they function. Before I open up mine, before I take on mine, which is ongoing hunt.
I look forward to hearing about all these successes, and hey, maybe later on down the line I can have you back on as Chris Devera, school owner, and
yeah, totally.
Multiple school owner.
Oh man, the name of the school. Guess what the name of the school is. I'm gonna keep.
I don't know.
Next Generation Martial Arts.
It's what? Sorry.
It's called Next Generation Martial Arts.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, right. That's like that's full circle. That's what got me all interested in the martial arts again. Is that team?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, we're sentimental old fools, aren't we?
Yeah. Yep. All right then, sir. Yeah, and I'm down to do an update at any moment, at any time.
Fantastic. Well, again, thank you for your time, and I'm going to let you go because I know you've got a busy day. I'm going to go home because it's actually 10 p.m. now, so I'm going to get home to my wife. But no, thank you for your time, and I really do look forward to seeing all these things progressing on the internet, and best of luck with things.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you so much, sir.
No worries.
Good luck too with you rolled out your new kicking program.
Yes. Thank you. It was.
And by the way, yeah, I mean, talking about success stories, Mr. Chapman, it was yesterday. Yeah. Awesome success. I hope you all the same success, if not more.
Oh well, thank you very much. I tell you what, if I can be as even half as successful as Matt, I'll be happy with that.
Dude, totally ideas. I'm gonna run with the whole like online teaching courses thing. Yeah. I was back on that, but like I like the way that he puts it forward. So
get in touch with him. He's the man. He's really good at this stuff. So yeah, get in touch with him. Cool.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll let you get on. Thank you again, and I'll catch you soon.
Thank you. Good night.
So a huge thanks to Chris for his time today on that interview. For me personally, it was a really cool experience being able to chat to somebody who I looked up to and inspired to be like. Not that we're that different in age, but with my earlier days in sort of performance-based martial arts, it was really nice to be able to chat to him. And I hope to other people out there that are also into martial arts tricking and to forms and stuff, it was an interesting one for you guys too. I do appreciate that there will be some people out there that interview probably wasn't quite as interesting for you, but that's just the way these things go. There's going to be I want to have a wide variety of guests on this show, and I don't want it to sort of be pigeonholed and focus on one area. And having the platform that we do now in the digital age, it means we can bring so many different people in from different backgrounds. So yeah, really good one for me. I really did enjoy that. I'm allowed to be a little bit selfish at times as well, especially with it being my podcast. So there we go. Moving on. So we'd had a couple of people on the forums just drop in on some other bits of information, things that were going on. One of those people was Jean-Paul from the Airborne Academy. They're hosting the National Tricking Contest to celebrate the anniversary of their setup. And there's going to be people coming down from all over the country. One of those people being another friend of mine, Nathan from Urban Tricks, and they're going to be attending. He just asked if I could give them a quick shout out, so I will. I'd actually, interestingly enough, spoken to Jean Paul and to Nathan, and they're two people that I would like to have on at some point down the line as guests on the show, so that's a cool tie-in. And it ties in nicely as well with our previous guest a few minutes ago, Chris. I think there was, I'm just clicking through the links now, doing this live while I'm on there. Let me have a quick look. One of the other ones that was on here was Mags. Now popped on. He had one about his son, his 9-year-old son that has a YouTube channel, and there is the video itself. The videos, should I say, are set up to promote Taekwondo and martial arts in general to younger kids, which is a really, really cool thing to do. The majority of sort of tutorials and things that are set up are obviously adults, aimed at adults. I had a quick click through the videos, and for the youngsters putting it together, it's really, really cool stuff. And they've asked me to have a kind of a bit more of a look through and send them some feedback. So I'll definitely be doing that at some point. That's something that I'm absolutely more than happy to do. If you've got sort of product reviews or anything going on news-wise, please do get in touch. I want this to be an outlet for everybody in the community to be able to get a benefit from, not just me picking and choosing the bits of news that are going out. So if you've got something going on, please do get in touch. So on to episode 4 coming up next week. I will be posting more information in the coming days. I've got a few people lined up that I'm interested in getting involved. But as I have said previously a couple of times, what I would really, really like to have is individuals on for smaller guest slots just to discuss different topics, just to spice things up. And one episode I would really like to have several people on to discuss different things rather than having one guest. So if you are interested, if you're listening to this thinking I'd quite like to get involved, then get in touch. I'm happy to discuss whatever it is that you're wanting to bring onto the show, obviously so long as it's suitable. But yeah, I really do, as I've said before, want to challenge different topics and discuss different things. So, speak to me, drop me a message, get in touch, and we'll see if we can work something out and get you involved. I'm going to wrap things up there for this week. Thank you again for your support. Please do share this around social media so we can help build up some more interest in the show and help push it forwards. But again, thank you very much, and I'll catch you all next time.